Terrence Howard has been risking his entire career and possibly his life. He discovered something that may revolutionize our entire existence.
I don't care what happens. I'm here to bring the truth at whatever cost that comes with it. And they don't want you to know that, because then you will know, and this is going to make them angry.
She said that when Diddy found out that she previously had worked for Death Row Records, he said, well, look, if anything goes wrong, I might have to kill you. She was accused of stealing. So they give her this lie detector test. And the person who was giving her the lie detector test said, this is, wow. She says this is her testimony. The examiner said, if you fail, they're going to throw you into the East River.
I spent a lifetime earning the right to speak with the conviction about these truths that I speak. So if you want to tear that down, have the decency to come and say it directly to my face.
As Sean Diddy Combs' legal saga takes an unexpected twist with multiple charges, including the now dropped RICO allegations, his chances of freedom grow stronger by the day. Should he walk out? Insiders say Terrence Howard might be the first on his radar, especially after Terrence's candid revelations about what he witnessed at Diddy's notorious parties. From jaw-dropping encounters to a surprising list of celebrity guests, his words shook the industry. But speaking out hasn't come without consequences. Sources reveal Terrence has been receiving pointed threats, yet he responds with fearless defiance, daring anyone to confront him openly rather than hiding behind messages. With bold confidence and unflinching honesty, Terrence has turned the spotlight back on those trying to intimidate him, proving he won't be silenced and hinting that the truth behind these wild nights is far more revealing than anyone expected.
If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye, integrity and in truth. I've spent a lifetime earning the right to speak with the conviction about these truths that I speak. So if you want to tear that down, have the decency to come and say it directly to my face and say it like a man. If you're going to talk about the geometry, have other geometries to argue against it. If you're going to talk about the supersymmetry, speak of other supersymmetries that would work against it. If you're going to talk about the white papers, provide your own white paper as an argument to argue against the equations or the conclusions. But we're going to do this respectfully, otherwise we'll end in a duel. And I mean a duel, real life duel, where only one person walks away. We can meet with guns, bottles, knives, or books and equations. But we're going to do this like men. So, get ready. Get ready.
It all started when Terrence Howard boldly called out Diddy over the long-rumored wild parties that have circulated in entertainment circles for years. According to Terrence, he was once invited to one of these exclusive events but turned it down without a second thought, making it clear that neither fame nor connections were worth compromising his principles. In a candid interview, he shared his unwavering commitment to integrity, self-respect, and what it truly means to stand as a real man in an industry that often rewards silence and compromise. Terrence emphasized that his sense of identity and moral code are non-negotiable, a line he will never cross, proving that staying true to oneself can be just as powerful as any spotlight or handshake in Hollywood.
Handshake in Hollywood.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and he said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, he wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the.
The conversation took an unexpected turn when Terrence Howard began naming names, dropping a revelation that caught many off guard: Justin Bieber. Terrence claimed that the pop star had attended Diddy's notorious gatherings from a very young age. And while it may have looked like harmless networking or glamorous parties, the reality behind the scenes was far darker. He reflected on how young stars eager to fit in often failed to grasp the lasting impact of those experiences, slowly losing parts of their spirit, dignity, and sense of self. Terrence stopped short of accusing Justin of wrongdoing, but his message was clear. The industry can exploit the vulnerable while shielding those in power, leaving rising talents to navigate a world where charm and opportunity often mask hidden risks. His warning serves as a reminder of the unseen pressures behind fame and how early exposure can shape a person's path in ways the public rarely sees.
From it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid, and next thing you know, once it go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary.
Terrence Howard didn't just expose high-profile names or decline Diddy's alleged invitations. He went further, issuing a fearless warning to anyone online trying to discredit or threaten him. In a calm yet unyielding tone, he made it clear that backlash won't silence him, confronting trolls, industry insiders, and anonymous accounts alike. Terrence knows the risks of speaking out, but he refuses to stay quiet while injustice and exploitation persist, insisting that silence has already cost too many too much. By standing his ground, he's not only defending his own integrity, but also shining a light on the unseen pressures and hidden truths of an industry that often rewards compromise over courage.
It's over courage.
Listen, before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open. With his name, his chest out, and his chin high. Not hiding behind a keyboard or tucked behind edited clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's a simple...
Terrence Howard gained a sharper edge after startling testimony from his former assistant, Caprican Clark, during the trial that has the town buzzing. Caprican revealed that Diddy once directly threatened her life, no exaggeration, no metaphor, which left her genuinely fearful. Having worked closely with him, she described an environment ruled by fear, control, and unspoken rules where those around him quickly learned to stay in line. Her account reinforced Terrance's warnings, highlighting that anyone brave enough to speak out like him could find themselves facing real danger. The revelation underscores the high stakes of challenging powerful figures in Hollywood and the courage required to expose what often remains hidden behind the glamour.
The moment of the day was certainly Capricorn talking about her time working at Bad Boy Records. And from the get-go, from Jump Street, this seemed like a really sketchy organization. At least that's the way she made it seem, like this was a sketchy and dangerous organization to be working for. And what we're going to get into here is racketeering. What she testified about really starts to bring home the racketeering charges, because we've talked about this last week. I know Harvey has been very, very skeptical of whether or not the prosecution had enough evidence to make the racketeering charge stick. I don't think he thinks that anymore after what Capricorn said today. We talked a lot about it on TMZ Live. And the reason is, she says the day she was hired, that Diddy threatened her life. And that's because he found out that she used to work for Death Row Records. Remember, this is back in the early 2000s, 2004. And Bad Boy Records versus Death Row Records, East versus West, this is a huge thing. So she said that when Diddy found out that she previously had worked for Death Row Records, he said, well, look, if anything goes wrong, I might have to kill you. Now, obviously you go like, well, wait, was he joking? Was that sort of a joking thing? And she said no, she took it very seriously. So right from the get-go, this is going to be a very dangerous role for her, right? Because everything she does is under a microscope. She also testified about a moment that she was given a lie detector test. As she described it, she was taken to a sort of dilapidated building, and Diddy was not there, but he had, as she puts it, some henchmen who were there and giving her this lie detector test because she was accused of stealing some jewelry that had been borrowed, I'm guessing for an event, maybe an award show that she was accused of stealing. So they give her this lie detector test. And the person who was giving her the lie detector test said, this is, wow. She says this is her testimony. The examiner said, if you fail, they're going to throw you into the East River. So that immediately draws a picture, a mafiosa picture, really, right? That's the thing you always see in TV shows and movies is like, all right, we're going to put some cement shoes on you, throw you in the East River. People in New York get that reference, and she says that's what was told to her by this examiner. You may look at this and go like, okay, why are you still working with this company, right? If you're getting these threats, why are you working with this company? Well, for one thing, Bad Boy Records at that time was a company you would want to work with if you're in the music industry, and that was Capricorn's trade, working in the music industry. So that's why she wants to be there. Also, you gotta imagine that Diddy has already from day one told you he's skeptical of anything you do. He thinks you might be a double agent or something, and So if you just decide you're going to up and quit, obviously you're going to raise eyebrows and you're going to raise attention from Diddy, who may be wondering what you did, why you have to quit. So I get why she stayed. And again, she had, big positions with this company. So the personal threats beyond that I want to say the personal threats really paint a picture of, and Harvey kept saying this last week, I don't see classic racketeering. I don't see the kind of racketeering evidence that you see.
To make matters even darker, Sean Diddy Combs has faced unsettling allegations of kidnapping, adding another layer to the growing list of accusations against him. Reports suggest he leveraged his power and influence to trap individuals, isolating them and keeping them under strict control. Victims described being lured into situations they couldn't escape, often under false pretenses, and then pressured into silence. When paired with the threats against Terrence Howard and Capricorn Clark, a disturbing pattern emerges, one that reveals the hidden dangers behind the glitz and glamour, and the lengths some will go to protect their secrets. Diddy now finds himself back in court for week 3 of his racketeering trial in New York City. Maintaining his innocence as an ex-assistant takes the stand with damning testimony.
Diddy Combs back in court for week 3 of his and racketeering trial in New York City. Maintaining his innocence as an ex-assistant takes the stand with damning testimony.
The prosecution may have been trying to make an argument for the kidnapping, which is part of the bigger criminal enterprise racketeering charge that Combs is facing.
Capricorn Clark on the stand Tuesday, claiming the music mogul kidnapped her in 2011, taking her to Kid Cudi's home, which she claims he broke into, matching the rapper's own testimony from last week.
He described seeing gifts that were unwrapped and that his dog was locked away in the bathroom. So he believed that someone had broken into his house, and he testified that he believed that person was Sean Combs.
Over the weekend, Diddy's legal team reportedly asked the judge to throw out part of Cudi's testimony about Diddy allegedly bombing his car.
The defense pointed out that there was no forensic evidence, no video evidence of Sean Combs being a part of that break-in, and then more importantly, that Molotov cocktail that was thrown inside Kid Cudi's Porsche 911. And I think when we think about where is the racketeering, where is the criminal conspiracy, part of the criminal conspiracy lays out arson as one of the elements. So this is possibly being able to show the arson.
Capricorn, who worked for Diddy from 2004 until 2020, also claimed to have heard him make threats on rap rivals Suge Knight and 50 Cent, all while detailing the hostile work environment that another former assistant, George Kaplan, testified about in court last week.
I think what was interesting for jurors to hear, though, is for him to talk about sort of this violence that he saw and this rage that he describes Combs having.
Capricorn told jurors she was forced to take lie detector tests as an employee, alleging she was held against her will for days on end until the results were to Diddy's liking, all while allegedly suffering physical at the hands of the embattled star.
With each witness, we get a better understanding and picture of what the prosecution is saying, but the defense always has this opportunity to sow doubt into the credibility of each person, or just try to make a case, obviously, for Sean Combs. So it becomes this sort of back and forth, and the details some days are very interesting, fascinating, and honestly sometimes hard to even report on, but I think we just are all waiting to see where is this going.
Closely, wondering how this will unfold. Another figure who could be at risk if Diddy is released is 50 Cent. While recent attention has centered on Terrence Howard, it's worth remembering the long, tangled history between 50 and Diddy. Over the years, 50 Cent hasn't held back, publicly mocking and calling out Diddy on everything from questionable business dealings to the rumored wild parties and hidden truths of the entertainment world. The tension between them highlights just how high the stakes remain for those brave enough to speak out, suggesting the fallout could reach far beyond the current headlines.
Fine.
All right, because it's a little fluffy.
stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was asking to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. No, like, and when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter. Like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability.
The new baby oil.
It should start looking gray if you ain't got nothing on it.
Got the new baby oil, bro.
Say baby oil.
You ran through 8,000 jars of them in prison. You know what I mean? He was ashy Larry.
Relax. I still got everybody looking.
For over a decade, 50 Cent has been one of the most outspoken critics of Sean Diddy Combs. While many dismissed it as standard industry rivalry, 50 has long hinted that there's more beneath the surface. One incident stands out as a turning point. Diddy once invited him on a shopping trip. On the surface, it seemed casual, even businesslike, but 50 recalled the vibe felt off, subtle, unsettling, and not the typical "let's hang out" energy. That moment made him start questioning Diddy's intentions and has shaped his cautious, wary approach ever since, highlighting just how complex and tense their history truly is.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sodomized me. Like he sodomized me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for money. Did you see the video? I could find other things to do for money. But I'm not sure I can say that for money.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple situation, but it's like
20 mil. I could say it.
You still have to black his face out.
Yes.
You still have to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's about me trying to get money right.
Yo, you can't say that dudes are having dudes, bro. That might come for you.
Yeah, you can say sweet love.
Yeah, I'm gonna say make sweet love. That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro.
Now people
not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things to the borderline, like, I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like, all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. This is really happening. I'm just saying to you. No, stop it, man. You set that up. Look, you set that up. He's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, girls, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that. That's like the white chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that was
get away with Wifey.
That's obviously doing chopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Cause it was like, he was like, yo, no, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me and I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
50 Cent has long suggested that the reason most celebrities stay silent about Sean Diddy Combs is fear. In interviews, he's pointed out that Diddy wields immense influence across music, fashion, media, and branding, making it risky for anyone to speak out. Many in the industry may have seen or experienced questionable behavior, yet they stay quiet to avoid being blacklisted, silenced, or worse. 50 has consistently bucked that trend, refusing to be intimidated and using his platform to call out wrongdoing, proving that speaking the truth often comes with both courage and consequences in an industry built on power and connections.
He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, but it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much go away. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
We saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, "Yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, "Nah, we partying tonight."
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was.
What does it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
No, I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. It's all coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like, look, you know, so, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
because of
the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Oh. Why are we looking at me, bro? I just go to church. I just go to church, right? I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the laws allow me to go that far back.
Turn away from you right here. I'm just a Catholic kid. You said you've been dead. No. What's the body of Christ taste like? It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come at that. Wow.
But with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
Yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only. Everybody else was scared.
Huh?
But everybody else was scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just asking.
I think that they're scared.
But if they're scared, then maybe that's why I'm saying
insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you've been saying people gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I thought he would do funky stuff like the Super Bowl.
Like the Super Bowl spotlight, all the chaos and mounting allegations have reached a peak. New evidence has begun to surface, making it increasingly difficult to dismiss what Terrence Howard, 50 Cent, and others have long claimed about Diddy. Reports of trashed hotel rooms tied to the infamous parties paint a disturbing picture, and the possibility of his release now feels volatile and unpredictable. If Diddy walks free, many fear the fallout, not just for those who have already spoken out, but for anyone caught in the larger web of silence and complicity.
The prosecution pulling out all the stops as they make their final push to put Diddy away for life. Shocking images revealed from inside the Freak-Offs, hotel rooms in disarray with thousands of dollars worth of damage. Diddy's son Justin arrived in court to watch the government wind down their case against his music mogul dad. Diddy dancing poolside and chilling with a glass of wine on the beaches of Turks and Caicos. These home videos released by the government showing Sean Combs enjoying his life of luxury. They were shown as part of the prosecution case. Teen cocaine and a shocking amount of high-powered rifles. These never-before-seen pictures were taken by police during the raids of the music star's homes. Police photographed a collection of lingerie, 200 bottles of baby oil, and 900 bottles of lubricant as we see for the first time what some of those freak-offs looked like. Hotel room furniture covered in sheets and towels. In response to the large collection of freak-off supplies, Diddy's defense attorney argued last week his star client likes to buy in bulk like any other American.
They've said on day one to the jury, we have flight records that prove that Sean Combs and his company were transporting these male escorts, were transporting women like Cassie and Jane across state lines for the purpose of that they did not want to engage.
CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who broke the story of the now infamous hotel surveillance video attack, was inside court today.
If the jury believes that these women were coerced into it is not something that they wanted to do, well then they have the flight records and the hotel records to back it up.
The prosecution's summary witness was on the stand today and read part of a heated text exchange between one of Diddy's alleged victims, Jane and Combs. Jane texted, "I'm not coming to New York. I feel disrespected. You just want me for a hotel binge. I don't want to be used and locked in a room to fulfill your fantasies.
It's my life and I'll kill you."
On Friday, this explosive audio was released by the court of an angry Cassie Ventura reacting to a man threatening to expose her in a freak-off video.
"No, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now."
Even if the jury does think that she sounds aggressive and that she sounds like a violent person, they may remember her testimony. She said that she was scared to death that these be released and that they could ruin her.
Diddy's team will begin their defense soon with a goal of handing the case to the jury as early as next week. Can you tell me what approach you think they will take?
You know, the defense has to be really careful here because less is usually
your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Until then, stay sharp and keep it real, fam. What's next? Will Terrence Howard come out unscathed, or could Diddy's release turn Hollywood upside down? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe.